This is verse 12 of the 21st chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. The triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem has wrapped up, and Matthew immediately begins to describe Jesus cleansing the temple, as it's commonly called. This probably took place the next day. Mark makes that fairly clear. The idea is that Jesus went on Sunday, the day of Palm Sunday, and looked around, assessed the place. This is technically called a visitation, an inspection, and then left and came back on Monday in order to effect his judgment with respect to the place. Matthew truncates this. Matthew is less concerned about precise chronology and so on. He's more thematic. So we'll give him a break at that point. But one way or another, the way Matthew reports it, it takes place immediately. But as I say, it's probably the next day. So we have now continuing Kai, the connective, eis eothen from eis erchomai, entering. This is third person singular, aorist active indicative. So he entered, subject Jesus, Jesus entered, eis, preposition, with the accusative, to hieron, into the temple. Of course, this is not the word neos, which would be the inner sanctum of the temple. Both words are translated by temple in the New Testament, and so it's important to check which one is in view. This really incorporates the entire structure and especially focuses on the external structure. And here is going to have in mind the so-called outer court, which was about 35 acres. It was a very large structure, and there was a kind of almost carnival atmosphere, I suppose, out there, as you had various vendors selling items, and of course all of the things that were being sold were, at least arguably, in service of the temple, but it certainly represented a kind of marketplace atmosphere that was probably not appropriate for the house of prayer for the nations. So Jesus enters into the temple, kai exebalen, from ekbalo, casts out. Again in the aorist, so he entered and cast out. Pantos, adjective, all. Tous poluntos. Poluntos, this is from poleo, which means to sell or to engage in commercial transactions. So this is a present participle, cast out all the sellers, the people who were involved in this marketeering. Kai, in addition, agorazontos. This is from agorazo, of course the word agora, marketplace. Similar words, not quite the same, but gets the idea of those who were selling and marketing is the notion. And so it's this rather hubbub of activity that's taking place in preposition to, dative, hero, in the temple, in the outer court of the temple. Kai tos, this is in the feminine article, tos trapezos, the tables. Trapezos is actually derived from the word tesseros, which means four, and pezos, which is derived from the word for foot. So the four-footed things is the notion, and from that is derived the notion of a table. So the tables, this is in the accusative, tone, kolubistone, from the word kolubos, which means a coin, and taken together, the coin transactions here, the coin changers is the idea, these who are exchanging external pagan currency for currency that's acceptable in the temple. So the tables of the coin changers, katastrepsin, strepho means to turn, katab down, to turn over, to upset, is the idea. So he turned over the tables of the money changers. Kai tos, cathedros, the word for chair, cathedros. Cathedra is derived from the word hedrios, which means to sit, and kata, down, to sit down, and hence the idea of a chair. And so the tables and the chairs, tone, polluntone, this is the very same word as here. The only difference is in one it's in the accusative and the other in the genitive. And those who were marketing, they were selling, buying and selling tas peristeros, the doves. This is the word peristeos, which means doves. So it's, of course, Jesus making himself quite conspicuous in the temple area. He's doing what he has a perfect right to do as the Messiah. He has authority in this place. He is the king. The king would rule in the Messianic office from the temple, and he's cleaning house at this point in order to establish that authority in this place. And of course, this becomes the triggering event that will set in motion the events that will ultimately and inevitably lead toward his crucifixion.